Hello, race fans, and welcome to another edition of Before the Green Flag on GMSRacing.net. As always, I'm Justin Waffen, joined by Joey Coulter and Josh Weinrich. And this weekend, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series returns to New Hampshire with Austin Dillon now boarding up for the 33 team. And guys, what do you see as the big challenge for GMS this weekend?
New Hampshire is fun. It's a weather-sensitive track. That's the biggest challenge, I think, with that place. Last year we had a whole test day, and the sun was out the whole time. It got a little warm, and then when we came in on race day, it was cloudy, it was cold, and it was muggy. So it was kind of you had a whole different racetrack to deal with then. So, this year they don't have all that extra testing, so it's not going to be as big of a deal, but paying attention to the weather through practice, qualifying, and then starting the race is going to be real important for both teams.
Yeah, this place used to be pretty straightforward 12, 15 years ago. And about 03, 04, somewhere in there, they reconfigured the whole bottom part of the racetrack. So the track's actually a lot wider than what it really used to be. And there looks like there's a whole lot of real estate to use, but man, this place races so narrow. You got, the banking, which there really isn't a whole lot, and then the completely flat apron, which guys will run down there. They'll almost be in the grass, getting into the corner and off each corner. So restarts always, we say it every week, but restarts are so critical to these races. There's going to be a lot of crowding going on. There's going to be a lot of door slamming going on. There's just, it's a big mile track, so you'd think there'd be plenty of room, but it truly races like Martinsville. It's there's pretty tight confines pretty much everywhere there.
And we were able to catch up with Spencer and get his thoughts of how he's going to approach the weekend and also what it's like to have Austin back with GMS at New Hampshire.
Loudon's a really unique place to race. It's very fast and very flat, so everything there is about throttle control and really making sure that you carry a ton of speed through the center. That's where races are won and lost at that place, is being able to free roll that center better than the next guy.
So now shifting gears to ARCA, another impressive weekend by Grant Enfinger, the 23 team, with another win at Salem. So guys, now heading into the final two races, what do you think is going through this team's mind to really seal the deal for them?
I think now it's starting to sink in that they're really in a pretty awesome position to go wrap this thing up. But they just got to do what they do every week, and that's what they've done is got them where they are. So you can't rewrite the playbook. Going into the Super Bowl. So they just got to keep doing what they're doing. Their strength has been overcoming adversity and just staying focused on the goal. The goal is to win races and win the championship. When something goes wrong, they don't lose sight of that goal. They do what they have to do to get themselves back in the position to win the race, which puts them in the position to win a championship.
Yeah, this team responds to adversity, like you said. There's not many race teams that you can recall back and say, man, those guys respond as well as these guys do. You look back at Saturday night having an electrical issue. It gives them an opportunity to do something a little bit different on pit strategy, and look what it does for them. Puts them in victory lane. You go back to DuQuoin, they're overheating, and look what happens there. They respond and win. So. If you're looking at these last two races, Kentucky, and then in about 3 weeks at Kansas, being that everyone's been on track this week with some testing, you almost kind of feel like things are a little bit more straight up, a little bit more straightforward. Everyone's going to unload on Friday with a baseline, presumably. So I think this weekend, it's racing. Anything can happen. Motors can blow up. Wrecks can happen, but I think heads up, everything, it should be a pretty straightforward weekend. Kansas, ever since that repave, it seems like there's always some crazy races. Last year was pretty wild. So you just go in there. These guys are going to be more prepared or everyone should be a little bit more prepared than what they usually are with having laps under their belt this week. So, if something goes wrong, these guys, they've got the tools to make things right.
And we were able to catch up with Grant and get his thoughts of what's it going to take to get the win at Kentucky and hopefully have this thing sealed up.
I like the mile and a half in general, but just Kentucky, there's a lack of grip, and like we were talking about the bumps, it just changes everything. So it's not a boring mile and a half for sure. So you're kind of on pins and needles every time you hit one of those bumps, and you got to hit it right every time. So it's one of those tracks that I enjoy racing at, and like I said, hopefully we can continue our success there.
So Grant giving his insight into what it's going to take to get a victory this weekend. And guys, any final thoughts heading into the race weekend?
I'm excited to get up there. This is Spencer's first time up there in a truck, and for whatever reason this year, and at this point it really doesn't matter what the reason is, but he's really responded well to showing up to racetracks for the first time in a truck. You go back last couple weeks, finishing 8th, at Chicago and up in Canada on the road course. You go back to earlier this year at Charlotte and Gateway, all those places he ran really, really well. So, it's kind of the opposite of what you would think. Yeah. So, for whatever reason, Spencer's been doing an awesome job this year at places he's shown up to for his very first time.
And to go with that, with Austin being back in the 33, Austin's got a ton of laps around that track in all 3 of the top divisions. So Spencer's going to be able to work with him and lean on him. The trucks have been getting faster every week. The results don't always show it, but I mean, when you really take the time to look at the lap times and how those guys are running throughout an entire race, there's a lot of promising stuff there. So this could be a really good weekend.
Yeah, those 33 guys are on it, man. I mean, ever since Pocono, really the last 4 or 5 races, I mean, those guys are top 5 every single week.
And it's shaping up to be a great race weekend. Both races are going to be on Fox Sports 1 this weekend, with the ARCA race being Friday at 8 p.m. and the truck race being Saturday at 1 p.m. And always, you can follow along with us on GMS Racing LLC on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat. And for always, also check out gmsracing.net for the pre-race, post-race, and everything in between. And from all of us here at Before the Green Flag, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.